Hello comrades, yes it's me, a Yorkshireman now living in Wales. Power to the people. So comrades, today I'm going to have a look at our favourite charity in Wales, Sustrans. Oh, we love Sustrans. They are the active travel, make your life miserable as possible charity. However, they always advertise themselves as being really good and upbeat. However, just so happens they've been caught out, maybe telling a few porkies. I'm not saying that. I wouldn't say that. However, I do have a personal opinion on things. So, this popped up on social media. Fundraising regulator, as you can see here. Sustrans, June 2025. You go down to the bottom. Blue arrow. Code breach. Yes. Ooh, what for? Misleading information. Well, let me just examine that a little bit more. And this box here sums it up, but what I will tell you is a couple of complaints were made by members of the public from what I understand. The first complaint was sort of disregarded and ignored. The second complaint, well, they had to take that more seriously. And the box says there, misleading information. And I remember seeing the advert, and the advert basically says, save a hedgehog, come to us, give us 10 quid, something like that. Anyway, Sustrans forgot to mention that their main active charity information, or their main purpose in life, was to look after the National Cycling Network, which I do believe they got given anyway, and I could be wrong. Anyway, so because of that, the fundraising regulator says, oh, you're trying to mislead people here, maybe accidentally, because that's what they do, but you're not really making it clear what you stand for. Therefore, we're going to slap your wrist and tell you off. I don't think they get fines or anything like that, or get shut down. I wish they did. Anyway, so they've already been told off for doing something bad. At that point I thought, oh, I wonder how much money they're getting these days. So I went on to the Charity Commission website, opened up the Sustrans page, which I should imagine has been opened many times, because not many people are particularly keen on them for some reason. However, there we go, Sustrans, and this is from the 2024 report. And go down to the bottom line here, blue arrow, and we're just looking at income from governments. Now, regarding governments, this is from the United Kingdom government, so this is all the governments, and you can see this year, well, they're going to get £124 million. Last year they got a mere £92 million, and 2020 they only got £44 million. Good Lord. Now, let me go back to 2023, so they got £92 million, and now they've got an increase, a wage increase of £124 million. Now I find this odd and rather annoying, because guess who funds this all? We fund it all. And charities are just an extension these days of the government arm. That's why they're called non-government organisations. However, in Wales sometimes they call them the third sector. So I don't know why, call them the third sector, and sometimes they do actually call them what they are, charity. But it's always a non-government organisation. So what that actually means is they take our money, they give it to a charity who I wouldn't support, full stop, and then they say, off you go and do that work. Why do they do it? I'll explain. Charities are unaccountable to the public, even though they receive millions of pounds and sometimes billions of pounds in public funding. But, as I have found out, I cannot make a freedom of information request to a charity because they just turn around and say, go do one, because we're not a public body, mate. That's it. So they're unaccountable, yet they still take our money. And it creates this loop. Now, am I keen on Sustrans? No. Do I like cycling? Yes. Do I like walking? Of course I like walking, because that's how you get about. Do I like it being forced on me? No. What really annoys me, cost of living going up and up and up. We're getting ripped off. Yet this charity, unelected people, about a handful of people who are dictating to everybody, right, are saying, oh, we now need more money and you lot can go walk and cycle. No, no, you need to cut back and get no money, and that money goes back into the system and reduces all our living costs. That's how it should be. I'm not there to fund you. If it's up to me, I won't fund you. You might have gathered I'm not keen on charities for many reasons. Anyway, at that point I then thought, right, what else has been going on here? And I thought to myself, Welsh Government, so how much are they actually giving? So the machine told me they give them just under £3 million a year. And you can see it on this slide. I'll put the slide up briefly, you can stop it to double check I'm not lying. However, I thought, no, there's something wrong there. Because I did reports and I've investigated Transport for Wales. Go down to the blue arrow, and what you see is under capital funding. Now they move everything and hide it away. And what it says here, £181 million for rail infrastructure. Now that money can also be diverted anywhere they want, and 31 million for, get this, bus related capital projects with additional allocations for regional transport and guess what, active travel schemes. Right, now I looked at this active travel scheme before and I was surprised how much money were going on into it from the Welsh Government and going straight to charities like Sustrans, because they're the main charity, because somehow they've managed to weave themselves into all these little charities, councils and everything else as the experts to do with active travel, i.e. walking and cycling and making us all go 20 miles an hour. So I then asked the machine, well, tell us what's going on with the councils and Sustrans. Comes up with this. And you add it up and you get about £8 million. Oh well, then this is all government money from Transport for Wales, which is public owned. We are the shareholders. So actually the true cost is already £11 million and I've not had to look anywhere. And I somewhat suspect, as per usual, there's a lot more money being given to Sustrans by different routes. You just have to follow the money to then unpick the route. It is actually quite tricky now. So at that point I thought to myself, right, let's have a little look at the annual report and see what they've got to say. They have a special section dedicated to Wales. Well, there you go. Makes me laugh. First box you can see here, blue arrow. It says, we hosted a webinar creating healthier, happier neighbourhoods in Wales. Seriously, making people walk and cycle, getting rid of public transport, which is what you're doing, by the way, and telling us we're all bad and we should do more things, literally is making us happier. No, it's making us miserable, because all we get is you lot saying, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, and the rest of it. No, mate. We're actually fund it all, we're the only shareholders, and we actually need to live and get about and do things in our little life. We're not all in the big cities like London or Bristol, where you all keep thinking, oh, this is ideal, this works here. No, mate, you're wrong. It don't work like that. Anyway, we then go down. Stick with that box. And then they say that we invited over 100 elected members and senior decision makers attended online. Right, okay. So you've not invited me or anybody else, the shareholders, who literally would destroy you with, guess what, common sense. And also, we'd tell you our stories, but you don't want our stories, do you? Because it won't fit with the narrative you've got. So all these people who get our money, because these elected members, nobody else, they're the people who we actually fund for, they're going, oh yeah, this is great. But I bet you they all use cars to turn up. Guaranteed, and they all got taxis if they did get a train. None of them got a bus, so I'd be surprised if they did. If they did, let me know. And then we go down to the bottom bit. The middle box here. Now, I will do a separate video on this, because according to this, national well-being goals, and it goes on economic, access to green spaces and all that, also goes on in there to say in terms of health and well-being. That's the word, health and well-being. And they're saying that our health is going to get better. They made a big deal about that. I'm going to do a separate video on that. Anyway, now the bottom bit is a bit you need to listen to. We go down here and I'm going to read it out. This is on, remember, the Sustrans annual report, and in this bottom bit they are so happy that they have managed to make 30 mile an hour roads the default 20 miles an hour. They're so happy about it, they're showing off about it. And it says here covering around 90% of the roads. Well, that's like a blanket, isn't it? Anyway, let me get off that and move on to the important bit. The North Wales Transport Commission published its final report and recommendations in December. The Environment, then in brackets Air Quality and Soundscapes Wales Act, gained royal assent in January, which includes, get this, new powers for local authorities. That's councils, right? So this could be Gwynedd Council, any council near you, to enforce motor vehicle engine idling. So if you're there at traffic lights and your engine's going, someone could knock on your window, say, I'll turn your engine off, mate. Oh, I'm alright, thanks. No, we'll fine you. Well, it's bloody cold outside, I need my heater on, turn it off, mate. You get a fine. That's it, you're going to get a fine. Could be the same, you could be in a car, the car won't, you could have this stop-start stuff. It could be stop, then just start up and someone says turn it off. Well, it's just started itself, mate. So that's the scenario you're now in. And this is real life, this is made up, but it don't get any better. Because what you've got now is, also goes on to say, new powers to introduce road user charging on trunk roads. A trunk road is a main road. So, right, this is how it works. So, I could decide, say from Barmouth, to go to Port Maddock or anywhere else using a main road. Say, let's just go, I want to do a bit of a shop, right? So I'm driving along, I see a camera, think, what's that about? Next thing I get a bill. Oh, you drove 23 miles today, Mr. Cook, that's an extra £60 you owe us. Eh? That is literally what is going to go on with the council. So, if you are thinking of voting for Welsh Labour, Plaid Cymru or Conservative Welsh, don't. Because literally, all this legislation I've just read out to you needs rescinding straight away. Otherwise, if you think your life is a nightmare, it's going to get worse. Literally, it will just get worse and worse via your local council. The other thing we need to do is start putting ourselves forward for the local council positions. Because we, the shareholders, can actually then start to veto all of this and get common sense applied. Right, comrades, bit of a rant. Thank you for watching. Please tick, subscribe and enjoy your day. Thank you.